Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with the recruitment forum. Welcome, welcome. We have a lot of new folks on here that are interested in taking the next step to becoming an official, and we appreciate you taking the time. Um, we have a couple folks that are going to speak and tell you about their experience as an official. We'll take you through the steps and benefits to become an official and how we can get you going as we move forward into the fall season here. So, a couple housekeeping things. Again, if you can mute your line, that's helpful. If you have questions as we go along, go ahead and throw those in the chat, and um, some of our experienced folks will help you with those questions. And of course, at the end, we'll open it up there as well. But again, welcome to the recruitment forum. We are fast and furiously preparing for the fall season. We had our preseason meeting for football today. Volleyball was yesterday, and swimming and diving was on Monday, and soccer was a week or so before that. So we are preparing and ready to go for the fall season, and we're looking forward to welcoming many of you into the fold. My name is Jason Nickleby. I'm an assistant director with the Minnesota State High School League, and I oversee the officiating program. I've been there going on. This is my 10th year at the league, and Pam Iniger is on here as well. She's the face of our program. I just help her. She's the star of the show, and takes care of everybody and does a great job in that role. Working with our officials, being that forward-facing person. Tony Schrepfer from MYAS, you'll hear from him in a little while, and then Sarah Kaufman and Wayne Folkers will speak tonight about their experience as an official. So I'm going to let them take it away at this point. I'm turning it over to Wayne Folkers first. Wayne is our state coordinator of volleyball officials. So he oversees our volleyball officiating program, but he also officiates football and basketball. And he was a um, uh, track and field coach. And now we've sort of stolen him over to the dark side, to the officiating side with track and helping us out there. So Wayne, very well versed in the officiating side of things, and he hails from Crookston. So Wayne, take it away.
All right. Hey, thanks, Jason. Yeah, well, Jason kind of hit the things that I do now. I still officiate football, volleyball, basketball. I do some small college basketball. I don't officiate college volleyball anymore. I did dabbled with that a little bit, and then I had some small college football that I also officiated. Um, and then like Jason said, I'm state volleyball coordinator, and then I flipped over to track as well because I coached that for 20 years, and I also coached volleyball for 10 years before I got back into officiating volleyball. Um, so a little bit about how I got into officiating. Imagine a 14-year-old kid, me, who's not very good in baseball, and I'm sitting down at the baseball field in Casper, Wyoming, where I grew up, and I'm watching one of my friends play, and he finishes up, and there's a guy by the name of Moose Stubing, one of my biggest mentors. Moose knew all the kids in the town of Casper, town of 70,000, but he knew all the kids, and uh, there was an umpire who didn't show up. And he looks over at me and he says, "Wayne, get over here." And I go walking over and he says, "You're officiating this game." And I went, "Yeah, sure I am." Well, he got me out there, and he stood right beside me. He helped me get into officiating. And so baseball was actually my first sport that I officiated. I continued officiating from the age of 14, I officiated fifth and sixth grade basketball. I did junior high. And as I was going through high school, another one of my mentors, and might sound kind of strange, was my basketball coach. Again, not another official at this point. And and he encouraged us to go out and officiate. And so that's how I started doing some junior high stuff. And at the age of 18, I got my first varsity game with one of my best friends, Rick Kerner. And him and I worked together, probably about 6 years, because back then it was two-man crew. Um, and but at the same time, I played junior college basketball. My coach in junior college, Swede Erickson, would let me go from practice to go officiate. And so it was these coaches who really got me into it. And then veteran officials started kind of taking me under their wing. And so that's what I hope to do a lot. So that's how I got into it. Why do I do it? I love the kids. I'm a teacher by trade. I love educating them. Um, if the kids ask, why'd you call that? Or if a coach does, I love just teaching. So I continue to do that. I get to meet kids from all over the state as I've officiated state in all three sports. And I love the camaraderie of other officials, coaches, um, the high school league. It just doesn't matter. I love working with all those people, and what I and really that's what I enjoy. I love the people. I love uh, working with the kids. I love walking into the Mall of America like I did 2 days ago, and there's a kid who knows me, and I couldn't figure out where he was from, but hey, how are you doing? So you refed me in this place. Um, so and why do I keep doing it? Is simple. The love of the game. I want to give back to the game. I love to teach officials um, how to become better. I hope I'm a good mentor for them. And I hope along the way, I hope all of you find a good mentors like I did. And so I've got my daughters. I have three daughters. I've got them who have all done some officiating, and I want them to go a little farther, but we'll see on that. Um, so that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Oop,
You
I
have to
just figured
unmute,
out the
Jason.
unmute business from you, Wayne, I think.
There you go.
Wayne's our go-to person in volleyball, obviously, but very connected in other sports as well, especially in the northwest part of our state. And has done an outstanding job in our volleyball officiating program and serving our schools. So certainly if you live in that part of the state or work any of those sports, Wayne is a great resource to connect with on getting started and getting connections. So thank you, Wayne. Sarah.
Wayne, I feel like every good story I've ever heard starts with, so my friend Moose, like, you can't mess up a story where your friend's name is Moose. That sounds amazing. So my name is Sarah Kaufman, and I am a volleyball official. Started my journey on this over 10 years ago in the state of Kansas. And even though I've been at this for 12 years, 13 years, something along those lines, I still feel like a very wet behind the ears kid, especially when I'm standing next to someone like Wayne. But I got into officiating because I played volleyball in high school and in college. And during a rec league game one night, one of my teammates asked me if I was interested in officiating because they were very shorthanded and they needed new officials. I absolutely did not want to do it. It sounded terrible. And I had serious doubts as to whether I could shift from a player mentality to an official mentality. So I was so anxious, did not want to do this, reluctantly agreed, showed up and officiated my first game and was absolutely hooked. And I have been such a volleyball nerd ever since. I can talk volleyball officiating all day. It's a little embarrassing how obsessed I am with it. I oftentimes have realizations of, like, I can't believe I get paid to do this. Like, is Jason aware that like he's paying me to do this? Like, because this is actually kind of awesome and I'm low key getting paid for it. Okay. So I love it. I obviously had a love for the sport as a player, but I also really love getting to know the players and seeing them like develop and get better, and then sharing in their excitement, like the first time they make a block, or something that seems little to someone else, but that this player's been working on it for a season now, and you finally get to see them do it. And getting to know the coaches and the other officials is a lot of fun, and I really have enjoyed getting to help newbie officials get their feet wet. And I think the one piece of advice that I would give to any official is be yourself when you're on the court. Bring your authenticity. I crack jokes, or I've been known to bust a terrible dance move during warm-ups if the song so moves me. I like showing the girls and the coaches that we're not some stuffy, stuck up stick in the muds who are just there to like ruin their fun and be like a rule follower and a whistleblower. So I really enjoy bringing a little bit of human nature to the role, and I'm really excited for all of you. I hope you do decide to become an official, because I hope that it will do great things for you like it has done great things for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Yes, we're happy that you get paid. Um, but also happy that you have fun doing it. And I would say, we've had these forums quite a number of times, actually. It started out before COVID. We had it in an in-person location, and it went really well, and we were going to keep doing it. And then COVID came along, and meeting was obviously not a thing. And we moved these forums to Zoom, which has really been a great way to get people connected with officiating from around the state. No windshield time, just hang out on Zoom and ask some questions and hear from great people like Sarah and Wayne who've been a part of our program, who really give a human touch to it, that we're not just robots and we're not just people that appear out of nowhere. Officials are your fellow community members, parents, teachers, brothers, sisters, and so on, that just happen to, as part of their lives, are part of officiating and giving kids opportunities to play the sports that we love. And Sarah talked about volleyball. I had the opportunity to play high school football, basketball, baseball, and track, and had the good fortune of winning a championship game in football, and then later having the good fortune to officiate a championship game in football. And so just a great connection to high school activities and athletics for me, and for Sarah and Wayne and most of our officials. That's why they do it. They loved it as a player, they loved it as a coach or a parent, and they wanted to stay involved. And this is a great way to do that, make a little money and have some flexibility to it as well. So thanks to Sarah and Wayne for sharing their story. So as I mentioned, we've had this forum for the last 4 years plus. And it was really an idea of Brett Carlson, who was the former community education director at North Branch. And he got us started on this, and he had no background in officiating at all. He just felt it was so important to get this opportunity out in front of people, especially our college age students. And Brett kept pushing it, and it's at where it's at today because of him. Unfortunately, he passed away 2 years ago, but we continue to operate and run these forums and push these opportunities in his memory. So we always want to thank Brett for his contributions. And Tony Schrepfer is on here, as I mentioned, from MYAS. We're great partners. He's going to talk about what MYAS does with officiating in their program, and how we're interconnected, the MYS youth officiating program along with us. And we have many relationships with youth officiating organizations, not just MYS, but we do have a very good relationship with them. And he's going to talk about his program. But the league, as I mentioned, Pam is on here. We have regional and state coordinators, and those are kind of the area supervisors from around the state in their sport. And we have them in every sport that we have here, all 18 sports that have officials. Wayne is the state coordinator for volleyball, but we have a state and regional coordinators for all of our sports. And then our associations are really key in helping officials get assignments and training and mentorship and development. And we have over 100 unique officials associations in the state covering all of our sports. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we have association charter clinicians. Those are kind of the go-to people within each association for rules and mechanics and how we handle situations at the local level. And then we also have an observer program where people get out and watch officials work to help them provide feedback and help them get better, because we all want to get better at what we do. We're going to make mistakes when you're brand new. You don't know what you don't know. You got to get out there and try it and make some mistakes and dust yourself off and try again. And that's what mentorship is for. That's what training's for. Our associations, our coordinators, and so on. They're going to be there to help you every step of the way in that process. So I'm going to turn it over to Tony at this point to talk about the MYS and their program and how we're connected in trying to get officials beginning their careers at the grassroots and youth level.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome everybody. If you're brand new to officiating and you don't want to delve right into the high school league, which is, when you start getting to the varsity level, for sure, it becomes a little more intense and we're scrutinized a little more. But if you're just getting started and you're looking to do basketball or baseball, those are our two main sports that we cover. We're a youth organization that covers 3rd through 8th grade baseball and basketball. Basically, we do have some other sports that we dabble in, some soccer, and we're starting to get into football. We have swimming as well. But yeah, so if you are interested in becoming a youth official, that's where you're going to get your feet wet. We're not going to just throw you into the fire, right? We're going to get you paired up with one of our veteran officials. We do work closely with the high school league, with a lot of the high school assigning associations just as well, that we're asking, those high school officials to, register with us, donate some time with our new officials. So again, you'll work 10 games with a veteran official right out of the gate. Again, they're going to work with you, work with the coaches, let them know, hey, this person's brand new. So that way there's that good communication between officials and coaches, because that's what it comes down to. It's about, our communication and our relationships with the people that we're, servicing, because those are our clients and we want to make sure that we're doing a good job. And learning it at a low pressure, brand new, if you're brand new 16, we'll put you on a 3rd, 4th grade tournament. And that's where you get to learn the game. Again, knowing the game is, well, most of us have played it. We've all played it, one way or the other, if it's organized or not. And we do like to give back to the game. And I've been an official for 30 plus years in 8 different sports. I'm actively working in 4 sports right now. So, and this fall will be my first time I'm getting out to do volleyball for the high school league. So I'm kind of excited for that. Again, I want to challenge myself. So being an official does challenge you. And it's a great application to, again, everybody has their why they do it. But again, for us, if you're interested, by all means, our registration for our basketball will open up October 1st for our 24-25 season. We do have in-person clinics that you can attend, just like the high school league has them. We have them for our new officials. When you attend one of our in-person clinics, you get it for basketball. You're going to get one of the rule books. We do it every other year based on the rule change year. All new officials will get rule books each year that they, for the new ones that join, but every other year is when you'll get a new one. We also give everybody a Fox Sporty whistle with a lanyard to get you started. And then you get out there and get some sneakers, shorts, stripes, hit the court. And that's where that's going to be your best teacher, right? Getting out and doing some, just officiating, because that's where you're going to make mistakes, like Jason said, and we learn more from our mistakes than we do our successes, right? You can't really judge a person's character when things are going well. It's when adversity, comes into your area. How do you handle it, right? Do you handle it with poise and confidence and, a great communicator with coaching and, the coaches? So again, there's lots of opportunities. Again, if you're not, wanting to jump right into the high school league, even freshman stuff, join us and let's get you started. And then as you work up, we work with different assigners and we talk with those assigners and we're like, all right, who's ready in your group? And we're always reaching out, trying to advance people to help the high school league. And then, it's like trying to recruit a player. If you're good, they're going to come and find you. And it's the same thing with officiating. You'll go to camps in the summer and they'll see you and they're going to go, hey, why don't you join our conference or whatever it is? And that's how it goes. So again, our registration, it's at MYAS.org. Jay, if you want to slide that next thing, yeah. Yeah, all that's been, like I said, we always pair you up with somebody. So, and everybody that's working in my department at the office is an official. So anytime you go to one of our clinics, they're certified officials. They're either high school or NCAA officials that are giving you the training. So you're getting trained by people that want to give back to our new people, because we have to replace our aging officials because we are getting a little older and we need some new blood in the mix. And hopefully you guys, step up. And again, I'm always, if you want to just reach out to have a phone conversation, by all means, we're all open to, helping each other become better at our avocation that we're taking on. And it's a challenge some days, based on just weather alone, right? If you're a basketball official and I drive up into Wayne's Country and I go to Crookston, I make sure to stop at Happy Joe's Pizza though, because that's the best pizza place on the planet. But you know what I mean? That's part of the, and we get to hang out with each other and it's the camaraderie, and I could go on and I don't want to, eat up all the time. But again, reach out, right? MYS.org. That's where you're going to find our registration. Everything's on our officials page. You just go to officials, do the drop down. You can either choose basketball or baseball. And again, we'll be adding football next fall. So this fall, we have some stuff we're working, but football will be one more that we're going to be adding to our repertoire here at the MYS. So again, anytime you have any questions, reach out. Pretty simple process. And we are connected with the high school league. So when you do all your certifications and now you're going to want to, like, hey, I want to join the high school league. We'll have you join them, take care of things there. And then when you register with us, we don't want to have duplicate certifications. So when you do, your virtual training there, you get credit for it on our side because theirs is a little more robust than ours, right? We're giving you the ground zero meat off the bone. Here you go. This is what we got. And then, when again, reaching that level of taking that next step. And then when you get to the high school portion, then those high school officials are going to say, hey, you need to be an NCAA official, right? So there's a pathway, and it's great. I enjoy it. Keeps you out of trouble, right? I mean, there's lots of hobbies that people have, right? I like to fish, garden, I do all kinds of different things, but at the end of the day, when I'm done doing this hobby, I get to get paid too. So it's always nice to, have a little extra pocket change. So yeah, reach out anytime you want, mys.org. There it is. Yep. So Jason will share this, and you guys all have these slides. So
Yes, we will definitely do that. As Tony mentioned, um, uh, they are assisting with training and development assignments and so on with basketball and baseball, but the league also has connections with, as I mentioned before, with a number of youth organizations across all of our sports. And so there's ways for you to get started at the youth level. But I would also throw out there that at the high school level with 9th grade, 10th grade, JV kind of assignments, in many cases, that is a very safe place to start your officiating career. Even though the kids are a little bit older than what Tony and MYS has, they're also schools, and schools have an accountability system for behavior and how we're going to act at contests. And we have principals and ADs and superintendents that are monitoring that, and are very much supportive of the officials that work their contests. And so it's not, the MYS is a great place to be, but I just want to throw out that the league is not a bad place for you to start your career, either, with some of our lower level registrations. And Tony mentioned kind of the dual certification, if you will. They also have incentives for doing that, in that I believe officials do get paid a little bit more if they do go through with the high school league side of things, and also do the MYS. If they work MYS games, there is at least a little bit of a financial incentive to do that. That's still the case, Tony?
we actually we made it a flat fee for our new
Okay.
officials that do come in. They get paid a little less for their first 10 games. Those first 10 games, they'll get paid less because we're going to give that varsity official a little extra for helping that training portion.
For mentorship and so
Yeah,
on.
yeah, for sure. And then once they get through that 10 game set, then they're getting paid just like everybody else. And we do have that same, protection. Our tournaments are getting a little tighter because a lot of, people, oh, those youth tournaments, everybody's crazy. And sometimes they are. But we have site people that handle it, and they just, if a fan or coach gets, kicked out, they're out for the weekend. It's a no tolerance, zero tolerance, and that's what we're moving to. And this past winter, it worked out really great, like really great.
I would I would agree with that, from a stamp that two of my kids played MYS basketball all winter, and I never all year never saw anything that ever rose even to the level of even questionable behavior from coaches or spectators or anybody. So it was a really good year, and it's a good place to get started in your officiating career. So
Yep.
thanks, Tony.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, Sarah, Wayne, Tony, they all talked about these kinds of things. And it's there's a plethora of other reasons why to become an official, amongst these. And I've had the good fortune of being able to officiate in 43 of the 50 states. Now I'm working at the collegiate level and some other things, and that's offered me that opportunity. But all of that started at the youth and the high school level. And most of my best friends, people in my wedding, people I played slow pitch with, all that, high school officials that I worked with, and continue to be my great friends today. And just a lot of great opportunities to go places, see people, meet new friends, and so on. All because of the choice that I made to be an official and get involved in high school officiating. At the league, as Tony mentioned, we're doing the same thing, trying to promote officiating as a desired avocation, and we work on registration and observation training and development is really a big thing, a big piece that we do. Again, we want officials to feel more and more comfortable as we go. And we feel that training and providing more resources is the way to do that. And then we talked about the officials associations earlier, that there's 100 of them. We are the liaison to them, and to try to assist them with recruitment and retention initiatives and mentorship, and just providing resources again for their members. Being an association member is not required. Roughly 30% of our officials in the state do not belong to an association. They get their own assignments and so on. But in the metro area, it's almost 100% association driven. When you start getting out to the southwest part of the state and maybe some other pockets, it's less so. But I would say for the most part, officials are in associations, and they really believe that they do a nice job of helping them with their craft, and then always trying to get better. And that's not just the officials, that's us at the league trying to provide the best program that we can provide. And then we are responsible for state tournament selection and game assignments. The regular season, again, those are assigned by associations primarily, but schools also do that at the local level. Our job is to teach the fundamentals of contest rules, mechanics, and then how to communicate effectively. And we do that through online rules modules. For one, just finished up swimming and diving online rules module that every official and coach watches. Soccer and volleyball should be finished by the end of the night for me, and then football next. And we keep working on those throughout the year for every sport that we have. And then Tony mentioned training clinics. We have them in most of our sports, and that's an opportunity to learn more detailed information on how to officiate, where to look, where to stand, signals, working with coaches and players, and so on. And then always trying to get better. It's not just take your money, watch a module, and you're good. We want to provide resources to you again, and training throughout the season, so that you feel connected to the league, you feel connected to our supervisors, and you feel like you're making progress in your officiating career. And always trying to connect you with experienced folks and promoting a safe environment, which we talked about both from an MYAS and a Minnesota State High School League perspective. We're always trying to provide a great environment, and part of that is our Thank a Ref program. Many of our officials experience this, and our schools do a really great job of trying to provide a great environment and provide opportunities for officials to feel valued in what they do. And schools and players and coaches may not say it very often, but they truly value the role that officials play, and they know that without them, we do not have games. And we need folks to officiate, to have the programs that we have, especially the ones that we've all grown up playing. We wouldn't be able to play those contests, those events, without officials. So another way to get people involved, we have these recruiting posters and brochures, QR codes to get registered or get to our website and find out more. The recruitment portal is connected to this forum, and that's on the league's website. And there's a lot of information about FAQs, registration information, association contact info, and any other questions that you might have typically can be answered on that portal and on the MSHSL.org website, where you can find a lot of those pieces about officiating. We have roughly 6,000 contest officials in Minnesota across our 18 sports that have officials, and we send them rules books, mechanics books, case books, depending on the sport, and we're always there to support them in their role as an official. If you are ready to register, you already have a connection with an association, or you know what the process is and you're ready, we'll send a link to register, and that process, either late this week or early next week, you'll get an email from Pam with that information. If you're ready to register, go ahead and do that. We will also send the association contact information to you in that communication, and you can search by sport and by part of the state. So if you're in Crookston, you can search volleyball and you'll find Wayne. If you go to Duluth and you search baseball, you'll find Matt Solberg, one of our coordinators. So any place you go in the state, or that you're in the state, you can search the sport and the contact information for associations in your area that you can reach out to them. And they're also going to receive the list of folks that attend tonight. So associations might contact you directly to see if you have an interest in being a part of their association. For our new folks, first and second year, the registration fee for the first sport is $30. There is no late fee. You have until the testing deadline to register. And then the second and third, fourth sport fee is $15. And that is more than what our returning veteran officials pay. You get rules books, insurance, access to training, and then all the modules and so on, exam as part of that fee. And officials who want to work varsity contests in Minnesota, these are the basic requirements. So you register, payment, general officials module, which you watch once, the sport specific rules module, which we have one for each sport, the exam, which you have to pass at 80%, concussion module, which you watch once every 3 years, and then a valid background check. And if you do those things, then you are eligible to work varsity contests. And then you'll put a photo on your Arbiter Central Hub profile if you go ahead and register. And here's what that looks like. And here's all the different sports that we have to register. This is from this past year, the registration dashboard, but registration for 24-25 is open. And then registration for 25-26 will open up in September. So we'll have 2 years of registration open at once. Again, $30 for sport one, $15 for each additional sport for our first and second year officials. And you can also order other publications, Simplified and Illustrated, and additional rules books, flipping coins, and so forth are available for purchase if that's something that interests you. Every official is required to submit to a background check. All you have to do is consent to it. You don't need to do anything further. We'll run it. If there's an issue, we'll let you know. But that's why the birth date and social security number are required for registration, because we run background checks at that time. Our new officials all get checked. And then officials who've been in the program, we do a recheck every 5 years. So we do about 20% of our officials every year. There's certain disqualifiers, but for the most part, don't have a lot of issues with that. And we take care of the background check side of things. The concussion module, completion of that is required by state statute. So any official, any coach, anyone who works in that capacity with a student aged participant under the age of 18 needs to complete that module. Again, it's once every 3 years. It's available now. So if you register today, you could take the concussion course and complete that. From a general rules side of things and the exam, again, a general officiating online module. I just finished narrating that not too long ago for this year. It probably will be posted early next week. And then again, you only watch that once per year. Each sport has its own online module that talks about new rules, points of emphasis, editorial, and so on. And you watch that for your sport. Those requirements open up the first few weeks before games start or a contest start in your particular sport. So in the case of football, volleyball, soccer, swimming and dive, adapted soccer, those modules, exams, etc., most of them, all of them, except for adapted, open up on August 5th on Arbiter, and then they close either on the 21st or 28th. So you need to complete them by then. The exam varies from 30 to 100 questions, 80% to pass. It's open book, but we certainly encourage new officials to work with a veteran to help them through the exam. And That's how you're going to learn rules and so on. As Tody mentioned, we've all played and so on, and we have kind of an understanding, we think, of officiating, but you don't really find out just how nuanced and sometimes challenging rules and application can be until you look at a rules book and go through an exam. And the exam is one thing, but also applying it during a contest is also another, and that takes practice. It just takes experience. And again, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. But you learn from those mistakes and you move forward, just like you did when you were a player. You make a mistake, you learn from it, and you move forward, and that's how you can be successful in officiating. Arbiter manages all of our eligibility items, so those the modules, the exam, and so on. All of that is on Arbiter, not on the MSHSL site. There's an eligibility tab on Arbiter, and that's where you complete those items. Every new official this year gets a rules book, regardless of sport. And you might get a case book or mechanics manual, depending on the sport. Rules changes, points of emphasis, other info is all available on the Arbiter Central Hub site. Our returning officials do not get a rules book this year, except in gymnastics. The veteran officials get a rules book there. Otherwise, only our new officials receive rules books this year. And then if you continue officiating, you keep your rules book until you get a new one. And then once you get a new one, you can discard the old rules book and keep that one. This has some registration data from the last 15 years or so. I know we have an updated one in our officials manual. Last year, we were really close to 6,000. Again, we hadn't been quite there in a while, but we were right there, and I think we're going to surpass that this year, which is exciting. I know it says 7,340 at the bottom on the bottom right, but those are unduplicated, so they're counted twice. So if they do more than one sport, they're on that list a couple times. And roughly a third of our officials of the 6,000, so 2,000 or so, or a little bit more than that, about 2,400 do more than one sport, either 2 or 3 or whatever the case might be. Training and development, mentioned this earlier. These are the sports that we do clinics and provide clinics. We do 2 in person and 2 on Zoom typically, and they both count the same. And if officials want to work postseason, state tournament, section tournament competitions, they need to complete one of these clinics once every 2 years. And with Zoom, most of our officials go on a clinic every year because it's free, it's easy to do. You just hang out on your couch and ask questions and listen. And so we found great success in those clinics, especially our Zoom ones. And then we also do weekly video training or so in football or basketball. But last year we did provide additional training. It's already been developed in gymnastics, in volleyball, baseball, softball. We will do soccer and wrestling this year, and there may be others that are adding to it. So we continue to add to the level of resources and training opportunities that we provide officials throughout the season. And as I mentioned, 18 activities that have online rules modules and 35 clinics at least that we schedule, again, dividing those up between in-person and Zoom. And then we have a preseason meeting held for each sport with our coordinators, and then they in turn meet with our associations, who then in turn meet with their members. The associations, again, not a requirement, but certainly recommend that officials join one because they serve as a contact with the league and provide training and mentorship and assignments. Again, we're going to send you the list of associations when we email out a copy of this Zoom meeting of the forum and provide you those connections so you can hopefully get started with them. But the meeting that we have with them includes the online rules presentation, rules changes, points of emphasis. As I mentioned earlier, we did football today, and we did the same thing with volleyball yesterday, and swimming and diving the day before that. So continue to work on those things. From an equipment and uniform side of things, each sport has its own requirements. We have a list of those things on our central hub on our website of what's expected for each sport. Many sports have a Smitty uniform top or shirt, jersey expectation. Football, volleyball, swimming and diving, soccer, basketball, wrestling, adapted, baseball, softball, boys and girls lacrosse will have that requirement moving into the spring. So many of them have that expectation. You can get that from any Smitty dealer across the country online. General Sports in Edina also has a lot of officiating apparel and equipment on hand. And in addition, associations and other veteran officials can help you with discounts or maybe donated uniforms to get started, especially in maybe the sports like hockey or baseball or those kinds of things where maybe there's a little bit more startup costs because of the equipment side of things. But there's a lot of starter packages out there and opportunities to get equipment and apparel. Insurance, I know it's not a major deal breaker for a lot of you and something that you think about. But you do have some supplemental medical and liability insurance as part of your registration with the league. And the medical is if you get injured to or from or during an officiating related event, you get some coverage on that. And then there is some supplemental liability, but it doesn't provide legal counsel. So we always encourage officials to seek other insurance opportunities. And we recommend the National Association of Sports Officials, which is NASO, as you see there. And they provide legal defense, liability insurance in any sport, not just the ones that the league covers. They represent, as an example, rodeo judges. So, they have connections with sport officials from all over the world in a number of sports. And so always encourage you to seek that out, and NASO is a great resource for that. Once you get going with equipment, association, registration, etc., it's time to start working and getting experience. And you can work scrimmages in most sports, and it allows you to work on your mechanics, adjust to the positioning and speed of the players. And as you work more, it's going to slow down. It will get easier as you get more experience. There'll typically be veteran officials to help you at scrimmages and guide, and so on. And many times officials at scrimmages get paid. So we always encourage officials to work as many scrimmages, as many practices, and ultimately as many games and contests as you can, because again, the more you work, the better you're going to get at this craft. And then you're ready to go. You just start working games, start working contests, find a mentor, seek advice. They will give you feedback on your craft. All of us started at ground zero and had never officiated a game before in our lives. We had to start somewhere, and someone who was experienced, took us under their wing and let us fly. I have all those people in my career, and I still see many of them. It's pretty gratifying to know that I've had all these great opportunities because of these people with big hearts who are willing to take a young kid in and let them get started and support them in my career. So you will find that. I promise you'll find the same thing. The officiating avocation and the people who do it, there's not a lot of better people than what you'll find in this avocation. They're there to support you and train you and get you on the right track. And that's the steps to becoming official with the league, and the benefits and kind of the pieces that are in place there. And again, we will provide a recording of this meeting and a list of the associations and other information for registration, FAQs, either later this week, beginning of next week. many veteran officials on this meeting, that are here to help and answer questions and connect. And we just really encourage you to consider taking that first step. You won't regret it. Officiating is a great place to stay involved in athletics and activities and to give back to kids that are playing now, like many did for us before now. So proud of all of you for taking the step to be on tonight and to ask questions and to seek more information on this path. And we wish you all the greatest of luck, and especially those that are going to get started in the fall. Have a great time, enjoy it, ask questions, keep getting better. And we look forward to many of you being the veteran of folks in a few years that can help the next generation of officials as we go. So thanks for coming on tonight. Have a great night. I will stick around for a few minutes if there's any other questions, but otherwise you're free to go, and we look forward to seeing you out officiating this year.
Jason, Jerry Casey.
Mhm.
You said there was a swimming rules meeting last Monday?
That was for our supervisors. They met on Monday to develop the rules module and the exam and so on. That information will be posted for swimming and diving officials to view on August 5th, just like our football and soccer folks.
Yeah, I thought something because I think we have our rules meeting coming up here in August, I believe.
The in-person clinic for swimming and diving is at St. Cloud Tech on the 13th.
Of August.
And then the 20th is the Zoom, or no, the 15th, I'm sorry. The 15th, I believe, is the Zoom clinic. So, and yes, we will send a recording of this meeting, plus the association contacts, plus some other information to help you get started as an official. That will be in an email that Pam will send out either at the end of this week or beginning of next week. We'll get that out.
Yeah, Jason, I'm currently an official right now. I have been for 3 years. I just sat in on your meeting just to see what you're doing.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I didn't clarify that. Somebody asked that question in the chat, so I was just answering.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Jerry. Take care.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
The rules test for football, that is available on August 5th on Arbiter on the Central Hub eligibility tab. Same with volleyball, same with soccer, same with swimming and diving. Those will all post on August 5th. That's why this time of the year is a little crazy for me, because I got 4 sports who want to start at once, where the rest of the year they are a little staggered, but and then adapted soccer, the exam and the module posts a couple weeks after that. And then once we get into the winter, it's staggered. So we have dance team, and then we move into basketball and gymnastics and wrestling and hockey, and we keep on going. And then the spring, they're staggered, and most of those are available the first or second week of March is when those pieces are available. So
can I ask a quick question?
yes, you may.
Well, I'm kind of new, not really new, because I don't know if you know who Kevin is in the Baxter Brainerd area for basketball.
Kevin Ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've worked with him. Then I got deployed and then came back with a messed up ankle and stuff like that. So this is my first year back, fully officiating.
Thank you for your service and welcome back.
So my question is, because when I first started, I never got the official book. Kevin just kind of handed me a book. She's like, here you go.
I'm sure Kevin has a few around. He's been officiating for a while, so I'm sure he's got some to hand out. But if you register this year, you would get a rules.
Okay. Yeah, because as you were speaking, as I was clicking on all the links and I was trying to find the one for Arbiter and I found it. I'm at the part where it asks me to pay money to officiate. So, so, so I signed up for baseball, basketball, softball, track, and volleyball. So I'll get all those ones individually book. Like,
That's correct.
and then it won't be next year, but then the following year I would get a new book.
That's
Correct?
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And do you
So actually what will happen, the way it works out this year, because the every other year thing is all veteran officials, you'll get a rule book this year because you're new, and then next year is a rules book year for everybody.
Oh, so
you
then I'll get a new one.
So you get another one, and then the next year after that, you won't get one, and then you would get one the following year, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And they typically come in the mail, roughly 2 to 3 weeks or so prior to the exam and the modules opening up. So people who've registered are ready for the fall. The footballs, the volleyball, soccer, etc. They've received rules books or mechanics manuals or whatever. They've received those at this point. And then Pam runs a list, at once a week or every other day and so on, and then sends out books to people that are owed them at that point.
Okay. So my next question is, with all these sports, well, basketball, you just gotta kind of show up ready to run around like a monkey.
Yeah.
Does it come with a list of all the equipment like you need or anything like that somewhere?
Yep. So if you go to once you register and go through that process and you're on the central hub on Arbiter, there's a uniform/equipment document
Okay.
right in the middle of the screen, and you click on that link and it will describe the required uniform and equipment for every sport.
Okay.
And then we of course encourage you to reach out to people like Kevin, or other experienced officials in that sport and you're part of the state, and they can explain what to get and where to get it from.
Yeah, the only issue I'm having is right now, like the only one I really have like an association with is basketball, and of course that's Kevin.
Yep.
I just don't know where I fall into when finding somebody part of that association because I'm from Piers.
Yep.
And I know we had that little, well, I clicked on the wrong one, but it has that list of officiants. What is Piers counted as? I don't know because it asks like Central, North.
I would say they're probably in the central, side of things, but there's no like boundary, so to speak. You can join an association, anywhere.
Okay.
And I guess what I would say is if you're having questions about that, you just call Pam or me and we'll direct you to the right
Okay.
place.
Yeah, because I just don't know who I should go with to kind of help me get scheduled times and stuff like that. Because I don't want to pick a location that puts me all the way down at the lower part of Minnesota.
Yeah, as much as Rochester Officials Association would love to have you, I don't think you want to be heading down there. And
No.
even though they're really great, they're awesome, but you
Driving.
probably want to stick by you. So I would say, once you go through the registration process, just connect with Pam or myself at the officials at MSHSL.org email, and we'll let you know the right people to contact you. They'll get you going.
Sweet. Yeah. Then I'll finish this up and get started on that. I'm already
Okay.
busy enough, so I might as well get the test done.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Jason, is Jim Weinzierl.
Hello, Jim.
Your plate is amazingly full year round, and that means Pam's plate is equally full or probably more full than yours. But
Yeah.
both of you guys do an amazing job year round in all these different sports and keeping them all straight and all the deadlines to get books out and videos and all the rest of that stuff. So thank you for what you guys do.
Yep. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, today I was trying to remember what sport I was involved in because we had the football preseason meeting, and I was sending the volleyball test to Arbiter, and then I was setting up a basketball coordinator email or Zoom. So but that's what we enjoy. We enjoy the officiating side of things, and Pam is the best in the business, and she just hopes I don't come up with any more ideas of things to do. So anywho, Thanks everybody for being on. Again, we'll send out a recording and a list of associations as soon as we can.